Well, hey there. Happy Tuesday. What a beautiful day to be alive. It's such a pleasant day today. And I we had a real storm last night, a lot of wind, and I couldn't go to sleep. I just couldn't go to sleep. And so I finally went to sleep about 3:30 in the morning, got up at 5:30, and still went and played my golf though because well, it makes me feel good. Now, I do have Jack Catran in the prompter, and we've been communicating a little while ago. So we should be good to go. He should find his way to the prompts before long. But in the meantime, I do have some announcements. One is next week I am going to be joined by ORIN. That's going to be fun. And I just secured 5 minutes ago. I'm going to be 2 weeks from now with Ron O'Mara, who will be coming to me live from Portugal. And so that's going to be cool. I also want to let you know there's still spaces left available with the retreat in Virginia in July. If you're interested, the just PM me and or send me an email at widushabambu Gmail and let me know if this is something that you are resonating with. There's still 6 weeks or something from now, 5 weeks. And also in an effort to generate some prosperity. Now, I did my Saturday cartoons. I got some pretty interesting comments from people. And okay, Jack's in the prompt. But yeah, I'll get you invited in here, Jack. But I want to tell this story. And so, anyway, people were like, well, why don't you go there? And it's like, you don't even get what my life's about. So anyway, I am
Hello.
making hey there, Jack. Hey, turn your
Uh,
camera. It's sideways. You're upside
yeah,
down.
okay, yeah.
Okay. Now just give me a
Easy.
second, Jack. Give me one moment, okay?
Aye.
Um, I'm presenting a special offer.
Okay.
So yes, what I decided yesterday, in order to raise some money that I need right now, I'm going to make a book sale, a special offer. Okay? Now, these are all in pristine condition, every one of them. Martha Stewart, Your Own Perfect Medicine.
Yo.
Your Man's Higher Consciousness, Hilton Hotemas.
Boom.
The Human Body, allegedly Dave.
Aye.
Man the Unknown, Special Edition, Dr. Alexis Carroll. And The Water of Life, John Armstrong. I'm
Sweet.
offering all 5 of these books for $125. Yeah,
You've ro
and they're all in perfect condition, like brand new. So if this is something that might resonate to somebody, send me a PM and let me know. It would help me out. I want to help you out. And I paid full price for all these books, so you know it's a fair deal. Just so you know. So, with all of that being said, I want to welcome my dear Welshman friend Jack Catran. Hey Jack, welcome,
Hi,
man.
Weedu, and hi, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to be here, of course.
Oh God, it's such a thrill. So,
And yeah,
yeah,
I'm
tell
not
us
Welsh,
something.
by the way. I just live here. We're English immigrants
Oh,
in a foreign
okay.
land. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's quite
Yeah.
interesting. But I do associate with the place. Obviously, this is my homeland. I grew up here as an immigrant family, I guess, like any many experiences around the world, and we had our own little ghetto.
Yeah, even my surname, my strawman name, my family name is from Wales. We
Oh
actually have
yeah.
a family. Yeah, we have a family crest there,
Oh
Calkins.
wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history to be dug out, this land, yeah,
Yes.
because it's all been destroyed by the conquerors, of course.
Yes.
And
Ah, big surprise.
you
So,
know,
let's start in with first asking you, like, a little bit of your history about, your urine therapy, kind of how you were introduced, how you got started, kind of, let's go there first. Let's start with that.
all right, happy to roll. Thank you, Weedu, and thank you, Harry, for getting me on here, and thank you all. So,
Love
like,
Harry.
it's been 4 years now, so 4 years since I was sat in my workshop and hit the link, Andrew Norton Webber with Vinnie Eastwood in that interview, and the hairs stood up on my back watching a guy. It was an almost 2 hour interview. By the end, I was tripping. I could just hear the truth in it all, and it was such a big story, and the implications came through straight away, and like a kinesthetic response on the whole body. I already knew about that shit. I was like, yeah, the body's saying it's true too, is this for real? And
So you
both
didn't
both the
hesitate.
distilled water on its own, even if it had just been the distilled water on its own without urine, it's still an absolute blockbuster story. It's an insane fucking story. Just,
Yes.
even without the gold, and obviously Andrew's given it to you with the urine therapy story, the distilled water story, you never heard of either of those, and then putting it right in line with the fruit juice fasting, which, okay, we'd heard of that, and the fasting in general, and then the breatharian shit, and I was like, yeah, I'd heard of the breatharian vibes, but never knew really much about it, never necessarily doubted it or really knew anything about it, but like, for me at the time, it was like he's wrapped it all together in a story that you can get in an hour and a half. It'll change your life forever, if
Yes.
you comprehend that. And then I I heard it all, and I went all like scientist on it, like, is this shit true? And I just had to, like a flat earther, a year later, I just had to investigate and research thoroughly for weeks online, doing experiments and buying the books and just really getting to the bottom of it. And I had to conclude that, yeah, it's all true, 100%. And it has been ever since for me. Um,
Well, it's
so,
interesting how, and I heard this phone conversation not long ago. Somebody sent me the link between Cole Haley and Andrew Norton Webber, which kind of brought it down to the bottom end.
oh yeah,
And what was interesting is that it really was about flat Earth and Dave, allegedly Dave, that actually even led me to even learn what urine therapy, or even Andrew Norton Webber.
yeah.
So, that when I heard that interview, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's all psyops and everybody's CIA agents, and I was like, wait a minute, what? This is crazy stuff.
It was crazy
That's
shit from the
crazy
beginning,
stuff,
man. It was crazy
you
shit from
know,
the beginning.
and
Um,
that whole group just broke up. Like, apparently that group used to have like 60,000 people or something
no,
crazy.
no, no. I listened to John Trumel the other day, and he said 60,000. It was actually 6,000. Okay, so
Okay, yeah, yeah. I
in
mean, I
that
thought
group,
60,000, that's crazy.
yeah, I mean, he might have been at the time. I was wondering because there might have been another group with 60,000 for all I knew. But no,
No,
I
the
think he was
biggest groups
referring
out
to
there
Andrew
right
Norton
now.
Webber's distilled waters group, which wasn't
Yeah,
just a urine therapy group. It was the whole story. And
Yes.
there were about up to 7,000, nearly 7,000 members at the time when it imploded with the flat Earth fallout.
Well, and
I
the
just seen a
reason,
few people are watching here, and I'd just love to say hello to Hillary and Joe Pereira and Simon Aquarius, and I might have missed a few others, but it's such a joy to see friends tuning in.
yeah, Ian
And
Sargent,
it's
there's
amazing how
been a
Facebook
lot of
works, you know.
nice
I love it.
nice group coming in. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, people from all walks of life and all times in my life and all periods, and I love the way Facebook just mixes it all up, you know,
Yes.
for the user
Well,
experience.
even the recent, there was more of a shakeup with that distilled waters group not that long ago. And I had Andrew Visker as a guest on my show,
Oh,
and he
sure,
became
yeah.
kind of like the sole administrator. And again, it was interesting because it was people's position about um, salt.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that group blew up about salt, but that was like that wasn't the same group, you know. That was Visca set up a distilled waters group, you know, maybe 6 months after the other one. We'd realized it was just falling apart. It would just stop being
oh, I
run,
didn't
you
know
know.
that.
It
I
didn't
thought it was
actually get
just that.
shut down in the way John Trammell described it in my experience. I remember it just sort of suddenly all the admins stopped really doing much, and they got rid of loads of people, and nobody knew what was going on, and just filtered away, just faded away, and then suddenly there's no one in it, and nobody really knew what happened because Andrew and Donnie weren't talking to us anymore. Yeah, and I was right in the middle of that comically because it was only been, well, it was the previous year I had actually met Andrew on a Skype call with Monica, and we'd talked about a million things, you know, and it was a beautiful moment. But you know, he really thought the flat Earth had come to get his story, and you know, he had some grounds to be in that state of mind as it happens, because certain things had apparently happened to him already. So I don't bear any
Yeah,
judgment on
it's
the
just
fella at all, and I just really like only have goodwill towards him, what he's done for us all, you know, even if he had a little moment there, as far as I'm concerned.
well, and that's
Because
the
the
way I
flat is
felt
fucking
about it.
real, you know what I mean? Do your
Yeah.
homework, you got to get on it. And
Well, I heard, kind of inside information a year ago about all of this, and I just kept it. I was asked to keep that kind of under wraps, and I did.
yeah, yeah,
And I still do. I mean, it's now way public now. So, I mean, I don't, it's not like I dwell on it. I wish people would just leave him alone. Where's Andrew?
Andrew,
Where's
well, I
Andrew? It's
think most
like,
people are leaving him
respect
alone,
the
to be honest.
bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that he deserves that respect. Just leave him alone and let him do whatever he's choosing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
his
yeah.
choice.
I've
He
forgiven
is a
him for
legend.
calling me a shill. Calling me a
Yeah,
flat
yeah.
earth shill. But it fucking hurt at the time, and it really pissed me off, and it really depressed me and upset me, absolutely, you know, to see that whole
Well,
group
I can
fall
imagine.
apart at the
Yeah.
time, and for him to, you know, be actually accusing me of being, you know, like in there to mix it up and stuff, and I was like, are you fucking serious? I mean, it was berserk, you know, but
Well, I know that, I mean, Dave and Monica, I mean, there were several people that were being put under that kind of, moniker that, that,
yeah,
that
I
they
mean, I
were
don't know how
chill.
much I'm allowed to say. I learn a few things. I don't really, you know, I think we can kind of move on there really in goodwill from Andrew, because yeah, you know, he had some freaks visit his house and offer him a contract, something like that. Some fucking weird shit happened. Like, so he got paranoid as fuck. Don't blame the guy. It's a freaky word full of gulags and fucking weird place, you know. And
Yeah,
he
no,
felt like
and
he was on
again,
his
I don't
own with
like
the
to harp
story.
on it.
He wanted help. He wanted help from us all to get it out, organize a conference. He's very fucking serious about it, and we all wanted to help, you know, but we're all as crazy as the next man traveling on our bike or here and there, no income or no lab, no studio, no, you know, we all got the great ideas, run a world conference. You all need to be professional on the case for that, you know, and really hardworking and committed. And basically what he had was a bunch of like 5 or 6 stoner conspiracy theorists just hanging out, like thinking, yeah, it's fucking true, it works, I can practice it, but are we really going to organize a world conference? You know, this is a lot of work. and you need investment, finance, and property, and blah 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 blah. It's a big job, you know.
Well,
To
apparently the to date, to my knowledge, the largest one that's ever been created is in Mexico, and this woman poo-poos on the aged urine like
oh
big
yeah,
time.
no, Sonia story. Yeah, well, what's her
Sonia,
name? Is
Sonia.
it so? Yeah,
Yeah,
Sonia, isn't it?
yeah, I don't know her, but apparently the conference she held in Mexico City was extremely large. I mean, there was
Okay, when was
people.
that then? When was that peak record
I
attendance?
guess it might have been a year, maybe 2 years ago, or something like
Oh,
that.
really? Oh, well, that was the one
Yeah,
that she probably organized that Andrew was supposed to be organizing, and da da da. Okay. Well, I didn't really actually
perhaps.
follow that too much. There was a really big urine therapy world conference in Europe like 10 years ago or something. They had a hall full of hundreds of people from all around the world. Somebody really organized that. But that was a urine therapy gig, not a distilled waters gig. And me and Monica and Andrew were all in agreement that we didn't really want to run a urine therapy gig at the time. We wanted to run a distilled waters gig because it's a more open story, it's more accessible to everyone. And actually, if you just get the fasting bit and the distilled waters bit, and your own body's a miracle, well, you're practicing urine therapy anyway because your body's circulating the fucking blood plasma all the same, right? All you got to do is stop
Yes.
poisoning it, you know? And
Well, in
then
view of
it'll
that,
fix itself. I mean,
in
I'm fully gold. I'm like you. I just think this stuff's amazing. The urine, you know, we just got to hit it hard and soak in it and drink it all day long, and everyone's got to get over their fucking shit with it because this stuff's the stuff, right? But
that's the way I see it.
if you can't go there because of the programming, you could still do the fasting, drink distilled water, and eat fruits, and you're going to get healthy as fuck. So this is
Yes.
really important, you know, and that was Andrew's message because he had this like, I want to save the fucking world tip with his knowledge shit. Well, he thought the distilled water was a bigger story to pull because no one's even heard of that. No, it's been raining distilled water all over everyone's head their whole fucking life while they've been drinking
Right.
chem water out the tap. You couldn't have made this shit up. You know, you got hippies that have been researching health for their whole fucking life in their 60s, and they'd never even thought about the rainwater. They'd never even thought about testing it to see whether it's pure and clean. And I'm
Well,
there
if
like
you
some young buck at 32. I just found out this story. No one fucking believed me. You know, all my seniors in the community, all my parents, it was just like, it's just talking about distilled water and TDS, you know, the dissolved solids. This shit is important, man, whether
well,
you want to go golden or not.
if you actually just look back several decades to the Whole Earth catalog, which came out in 68 or 9, first year they did Earth Day. It had all the answers in that Whole Earth catalog. Everything was there. All you had to do was apply it, and that's when people were developing the communes. People were
When
expanding
was
in
this
their
whole Earth
Whole Earth
catalog? Is that the
catalog.
70s?
I think it was 68, might have been
68?
69.
And it had
It was
distilled
this.
water and urine therapy in it?
No, but they about how to have sustainable, how to collect rainwater, how to create a more
Ah, yeah, yeah,
utopic
yeah. Yeah, well, everyone's
world.
collected rainwater for sustainability reasons. Obviously, you want to be
Right,
off
right,
grid with your own, but no one knew it was 10 times cleaner or 100 times cleaner. No one's
right.
been replumbing with it because it's cleaner. I mean, I'm talking washing machines, showers, bathrooms, everything, right? You've got a water
Yes,
source that's coming down out the sky at 10 parts per million. You cannot get water that clean anywhere else, not without
yes.
a
Well, even
machine or a
Harry
filtration device. When it comes out the ground, it's dirty. When it comes out the tap,
Harry
it's
did
dirty.
an experiment just recently with it. He was collecting rainwater right there in the UK and
Who is
putting
this?
the the meter on it
Oh,
and
yeah, man.
testing.
Shit, I've been
Yeah,
doing this for 4 years. So, like, when I was first learning the story, I was in London, like a few months after knowing all this stuff. And I get my TDS meter and I test the tap water and it's 350 parts per million or whatever the fuck. London water, everyone knows is terrible. I go out in the street and it's raining and I test the puddle on a dirty road in East London with the buses driving by, and it's 7 parts per million. 007. That's the fucking water we want to be drinking.
Yes.
Off the road of a dirty puddle in the street. You couldn't have made this shit up. I was just like
Well,
flabbergasted, you know?
that's why dogs. I mean, dogs know what. I mean, they'll go lick a puddle, you know, and you're
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
at
yeah,
it. You
yeah,
think
yeah.
it's muddy water, and to them, I mean, they know discernment. They know what they're
Yeah,
drinking. You
they
know.
sure do. Yeah, every dog and cat owner worth his salt has noticed this, that they go for the puddles before the tap water. And
Yes.
well, so do I now, for fucking real. You know, I really do.
Yeah.
And I've got amazing results collecting rainwater. I've got 000 water off of a dirty shed roof. Because when it's raining long enough and hard enough, which it does do here in Wales, as we all know, it just clears out the sky, it clears out the sky, it clears out the roof, it clears the guttering channel, it cleans everything and keeps coming, you know, and keeps coming so much, it just gets cleaner and cleaner. And you can actually watch it dropping from 25 down to 20, down to 15, down to 10, and take it all the way home. And some days you get 000 water. And you haven't
Yeah.
cleaned the fucking gutter out or cleaned the roof or anything. So you'd
Well,
think that water'd be dirty.
Both Nicholas and Harry were both putting in 7 ppms on
Yeah,
their
yeah.
test.
Seven's pretty normal, yeah. Under
Now
10
I want to go
is
back.
regular.
I want to go back one
Whoa,
square.
Hillary.
Um,
Yeah,
and the reason I want to do that, we were talking about conferences, and I haven't mentioned it recently much, but I'm going to mention it right now, just because it really is it's an event that I think is valuable, and it's the Water of Life Symposium,
bang on.
and that's going to be in Vegas, September 21st, 2nd, and 3rd at the Westgate Resort. It's a beautiful communion, and that's what, you know, I'm going back for the second year. And the amount of people I met in real earnest, sincere, beautiful people, that was the whole deal. I mean, there was things to learn, certainly, but more importantly, there was people to meet, you know, where
Yeah,
you can actually,
yeah,
you know, find a tribe. And,
sure.
you know, I've been seeking a tribe from that experience out. I've been out to meet people. Now, when you were going back to the conversation and saying, yeah, it's a, you know, group of stoners trying to get organized, you know, the thing is that most people I've met, period, but P people are no different. We're a bunch of weirdos, man. I mean, you know, we're different. We're a different breed of people. So just because we drink our pee doesn't mean we're all going to just resonate in the same vibration. It just doesn't
No,
work like that. But it is, you
well,
know, and this is my point really, is that regardless of our indifference and our real differences, you know, we share a commonality. We're utilizing something that we believe in, that we think is really important. But um, I think what's most important is people got to stop bashing each other, you know, one way or the other. That, you know, that it's ridiculous. We're already this gigantic minority, and to get into any of these indifferences and stuff without having, you know, respectfully disrespect our respect or whatever, without having all of this entanglement, just seems, you know, important to me. That, you know, that we
sure.
really
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to
yeah. Well, it
cultivate.
makes me think of Sonia and Monica there, you know, like,
Yes, yes, exactly.
um, and it was of no great surprise, really, to hear it. I was saddened to hear it when Monica explained exactly, you know, what was going on, how bad it had got. I was shocked
Yes,
in a
yes,
way, but then really not actually surprised when I thought about it, because it's fucking human nature. Is what we've always been like. Just a bunch of twats, really, aren't we all? You know, humans. You
yeah,
look at all the flat earthers, have the greatest time, the greatest summer they've ever had together, all meeting each other, and a few months later, they're all daggers and knives and hating each other, calling each other shills. And it's like, really, you know, does it have to be like that? It's just what
yeah,
we're like at the moment. So, you know, you give us all like what both these stories do, because they annihilate authority. Once you've
Yes.
scientifically settled on urine therapy, distilled water, or the flat earth, for me, they're similar size story. And they annihilate authoritarian science and any kind of answer book to go to. So there's no,
Yes.
you know, if you've got a quandary, you can't just fucking phone up the Royal Institute anymore, you know?
Yes.
What that does, it puts us all on a level playing field as leaders and followers, you know, and it actually gives us all a voice um, and an opinion that's really worthwhile. And that's why it's changing everyone's lives, you know? And
Yeah, well,
it's
and my whole life has been
fascinating.
controversial like that. I mean, every decision I've even made, even when I had a giant Amway business, my friends were like, "Oh God, now he's totally lost it." You know, I went from being a hippie to wearing black power suits and power ties, and they thought I was totally fucking out of my mind, right? You know, so it never mattered what I chose. It was always the wrong choice in the view because it was unorthodox. You know, my whole
Oh,
life,
he's gone and changed again. No one likes change, we do.
you know, when I was a chef and feeding everybody and getting to them through their stomachs and all that stuff. Everything was all peachy. But as soon as anything else shifted out of that, it was like, what the fuck, dude? You know, why don't you just like get a job, get with the program, and quit making waves?
Back in
I
the
don't know how to
kitchen.
do that. I never learned that. Not my wheelhouse. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So to be honest, like going back to the theme, you know, it partly is like I'm more psyched to be following the Golden Fountain story just because, well, it's just such a crazy story. And I generally find that people really, because of the process itself being so quick acting and therapeutic, that people genuinely relax, become happier, become friendlier, and treat each other better very quickly, you know. So other than Sonia and Monica, and maybe you've heard more ructions, and obviously, you know, yeah, we've fallen out, all sorts of people over all sorts of things, but on the whole, it's just such an amazing vibe of love and happiness between us all. We just all want to get together more and more and share
yeah.
this, you know, and get healthy as fuck, you know, for free.
Yeah. Well, and really, that's my intent. If I had a
Big
focused
comments.
intent, a purpose, a mission is like, it's about the love. Let's remember it's about self love. If we really want to get shit happening, we have to love ourselves. It's an inside job. If we can't do that, we can't look outwards and do that. So it
It's funny
takes a
you say
lot of
shit happening because
discipline. Yeah.
shit happening is part of the process, eh?
Totally. And shit does happen. It happens to everybody constantly, no matter what. But unless we understand our own value, and I just think that P has a really miraculous way of us seeing self-love. I mean, why would somebody drink pee, just to be goofy? I mean, if you weren't getting some benefit, why would you be doing it, right? And to me, it's the
Yeah, I just
greatest
wanted to look
expression
cool, you
of
know?
self-love. There's no better self-love than drinking your pee from my point of view. My experience has rendered that I got more focused on my own self-love than any other time in my life. Then
Yeah,
from
true,
when I started drinking
truth,
my pee, it changed everything, changed the whole playing field.
truth.
And I'm
Yeah,
grateful.
yeah.
I'm really grateful.
Well, I mean,
And
you
the
certainly
type
learn.
of people I meet, I wouldn't be having conversations with freaks like you. What the fuck? I mean, look at this, right?
I'm sure
How
you've had
cool is
enough
this?
conversations with freaks all throughout your merry life, we do. I'm sure you've known lots of wonderful
Oh
people.
God.
But of course, you know, and likewise, when you turned up out the blue like a year ago, I've been watching the Facebook groups and the urine therapy scene for a couple of years, 3 years, and I was like, where did this guy come from?
I'm
And
still
now a year
wondering.
later, you're inviting me onto the show, like you're fucking running things. Like, big up yourself, man. There's the dubstep intros. And I could just see it from straight, you know, it's like when you know the story and you see someone's just hitting it new and they're hitting it fresh, like my man John Edgerton here. I seen him from the start learn about it off of Dave, like we all did, or like half of us did.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was backed up by me being there, and we're all together at a flat earth camp, you know. And so the flat earth and the urine therapy is going to be mixed up for a long time yet, because they're both complete authority busters. They're both complete
Yes.
science paradigm shifters, because if they have lied this much about something this important for that long, so universally in every single university around the world, then we are fucking on our own, aren't we? You know, like, this is crazy shit. They
Well,
hadn't
and
even
there's so many
studied to
other
see
things
whether
that,
rainwater was drinkable. Hey, see you, Hillary.
yeah.
Until 2007. Some guy saying, a professor in Australia saying, this is the first university study to test whether rainwater is actually potable ever in the history of academia. And that was in 2007. And I was like, are you having a fucking laugh? It's the first thing a child would ask. If there's any education going on, if anyone needs to learn anything in this world, first thing you'd ask, can we drink the rain? Is the rain clean the drink? You know, we need to know
Yes.
this. First things first. And as it happens, they concluded it was perfectly safe, but they still wrote it up in a little kind of way that would just about put off the viewer or reader from ever really doing anything about it, because that's the way they like to
Well,
write
and
these things up. But
it's just like your first Google search for like distilled water. I'll put in the
that's
misinformation
right.
file first, right? You know, and I mean, it's all a smokescreen. Once you're understanding that we have really been misinformed, misled, and misdirected, and institutionalized with indoctrinational education so that we just learn to memorize shit they want us to know. Never taught any critical thinking, never taught any creative thinking, never taught anything that is of a benefit to an individual development at all. So once we finally get to a level of complete understanding of that and realize you're on your own, that you really have to shift your gears if you want to, and that's what makes most people uncomfortable, is because, oh shit, what are other people going to think? And when you get to a point where you don't really give a shit or whatever anybody thinks, it means little, then you can actually have a paradigm shift. If you're still concerned what others are thinking, no matter what your choice is, even if you're just raw, a
Yeah, right. All the
fruitarian, a
vegans and shit have
breatharian,
had
a
enough hard
vegan,
time.
I don't care what your choice is. It's all weird. It's
Yes,
just weird.
it's so weird. Oh, you know, I had so much fun as a urine therapist on my bicycle ride, you know, because I was just cycling with my tent, you know, and my bags. And actually, some nights I'd stay with people that would put up cyclists, you know, so they're getting a touring cyclist in the sofa for the night, and they're quite happy. And and I obviously made it a point to tell every single fucking person I met everywhere I went, you know, that I'd been drinking all my pee for over a year. And some of the faces I got, you were just priceless, absolutely priceless, you know, because we've been hanging out for a whole evening, we'd had a nice dinner and a drink or whatever. And then I just dropped that, you know, it's like dropping the flat earth. It's like, what the fuck did you just say? You know, does that even go in, you know, like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's quite surreal, isn't it? You know, but
Well,
it gets so normal
and
so quickly. Yes,
I
Jeffrey.
go back and forth. I've gone back and forth with different things. Okay, like I was just on the road, and when I was on the road, I ate things I normally wouldn't eat. Not at restaurants or anything, just as a guest in homes. And
Sure.
it wasn't much. It was only a few meals, but I put in 7,000 miles. So, cigarettes was an old friend of mine, that I'd travel with. So, I picked
Yeah.
up smoking. And while I was on the road, I started drinking again, which I hadn't done in years,
Ah,
recently. But I
yeah,
just
yeah.
stopped all that again. I just, and I knew I was going to stop again, It was
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
matter of when I finally decided which day, and that was 3 days ago now. So, I dropped the cigarettes, I dropped the beer, whatever. I mean, I just dropped all that like 3 days ago, and I'm starting to fast today. I mean, I just started a new fast today, and I'm just gonna see how long that runs. I don't know. The longest one I ever did was 14 days, but I'm just
Sweet, man.
taking it, one day at a time and seeing. But yeah, the point I'm making about all of this is even with my pee, okay, now even when I was drinking beer and doing all that, smoking cigarettes, my pee was like coconut water, sweet water. Okay, and I was doing a lot of looping. Now,
Yeah.
and even yesterday, all I was eating was fruit. I had peaches and mandarins. That was it. But this morning, so far, out of 3 loops, it's been dark. It's been real dark, amberish, and real like bitter and salty. So the point I'm making is, okay, when the body's detoxing, it's going to come out all sorts of ways. It
Oh
just
yeah.
works like this. Okay.
That's
If
the
you
way
think
she
that, oh,
goes.
if I just eat a couple of pears, then I'm going to have this coconut water. Your body changes constantly. It just does. And if you're exercising, if you're under stress, if you're detoxing, it just doesn't matter. Drink your
You don't
piss.
really know what the body's deciding to do. You don't have that level of self-knowledge, really, in terms of like, oh, it's time to dig out the old glyphosate deposits in the fucking left knee that are deposited over the
Yeah,
period of
yeah.
85 to 95. You know, it's like we
Oh,
don't
God.
know what is embedded in us, and we don't know how it's going to come out, you know. Yeah, sorry, the darker pee. And oh yeah, we've been talking about this. I heard you know about the dark pee, and for anyone who's not so au fait with urine therapy, and this is the major confusing point which I have to clear up, and I'm sure we do already has done many a time, is that the more toxic your body may be, and the more toxic and strong that your urine may be as a result, that is because it is a more powerful antidote. It is a more powerful remedy, and it is a more powerful health reaction, biological reaction to your toxic state. It is not a product of your toxic state, it is the opposite of your toxic
Yes.
state. Okay. And yes,
It's
there
all
is
the more
a
reason you want to drink it.
evidential, apparent link. If you eat a load of fucking toxic, salty fucking shit and your wee immediately gets disgusting, yes, there's a link, but it's the
Yes.
antidote. It's the
Yes.
opposite, you know? And when
Yeah,
you
and
get
I
that,
accept
when
that.
that goes in, you don't ever stop fucking drinking then, do you? Because you just know
No, no,
whatever I'm going through,
it's not fun
that's the
or
stuff for me.
pretty.
Yes, Rob, it's so much.
It's not like that. Like, oh, what a tasty beverage. You know, it's like,
No, but it
damn,
is
that was
sometimes.
dank. Could
Oh,
that
mate,
shit
some of
get
the
any more bitter or salty? I mean, come on. But I
when I was
realize those
cycling, you
aren't the
know,
power nutrients. It's just power nutrients. It's like your
fuck
super
off.
power drink, you
You can
know?
imagine cycling in a Spanish sunshine for like 15 hours a day in the sunshine, and I was just wearing a pair of shorts, no sunburn. You know, like I was setting off at 7 in the morning some days, and I was hitting the sun from 7 all the way through to 7, 8 night, and no burn. You know, like fucking crazy shit. Anyway, dehydrated. Obviously, you're going up mountains and stuff, and I couldn't buy distilled water anyway, so I was just going on the golden loop, you know, and drinking tea and coffee and maybe other drinks if I wanted. Anyway, man, you should have tasted some of that concentrated. This is like, oh, I've had
Oh
a wee.
boy.
Ooh, oh dear, have I really? Bang that down. It's like a little espresso, you know. It's like,
Yeah, yeah. Step up to the bar.
gosh,
I got special shooters. Want one?
yeah. Oh
Oh,
man.
that's
And now,
hilarious.
like, I'm still slow with this stuff. I still feel slow with urine therapy. There's so many things I haven't experimented with that my friends have already done yet. And like, I've only ever drunk really small amounts of aged urine, and I've felt the effects so powerfully, you know, like, and it's almost like I'll drink like half a little cup and think, whoa, that's fucking powerful shit. And then it'll stay on the shelf for 3 months, you know, and I'm like, I should be doing this more often, man. I've got loads of this stuff. And if you drink, it's powerful shit, man.
Well, I tell you
And
what, this sitz bath, I did two of them yesterday, and it's really amazing. This small freezer, the amount I have in it, once I get in there and just slide in all the way down, it comes up just like right across my shoulder tips. And I just bring my hands up and cover those and do my head, but the rest of my body is completely submerged, and it's
what is the
cool.
device you've got? What
It's an
is that in?
old freezer, a freezer that went debunk, like a freezer, a chest.
A freezer unit. Yeah, so it's a bathtub, man. It's a bathtub. Good for
Yeah,
you, man.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah,
half
yeah. I'm
size
glad
one.
because you showed me the bathtub you did have. It was like some little plastic blow up thing. I was like,
Yeah, well,
dude,
and
it goes better, you know?
my friend Jeff had the idea. It was his idea, and he brought the freezer to me.
Oh,
It was
jokes.
totally his idea. He totally engineered this idea. I give
Well,
him
you
all the
need a
credit.
bathtub that you can fill full of piss. And obviously, most people's bathtubs in the shared houses you're living in, nobody wants it to be full of your old piss in the middle of the bathroom in the middle of the house. Of course, they don't.
Yes.
So, you need to buy the metal tub and the gas fire and stick it out in the garden. And then you can heat the bad
Yeah.
boy up. And I swear,
Well, the
man,
thing that
there
works
is
about the
nothing
freezer,
nicer.
Jack, what works really good with the freezer is number
Yeah.
one, he built it with a mesh. So it has a mesh that hangs so it breathes. But it also
Okay. Yeah.
has a lid, so if it rains, you can close it,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
cut the smell altogether if you just want to
Yeah.
close it. And it's got a drain, so when it's time to move it or do anything, I can drain it and actually repackage the pee right back into gallon containers and move it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a
So
very
I've got this
practical.
fantastic tubs recently, which I got from a food processing unit. They're getting rid of them for free. They're about 5 gallon white plastic food grade clip down buckets, and I got them for free. And I was like, give me 10 of them, you know. And I was so fucking happy I got them because immediately they're just the perfect thing for aged piss. Like, I know it's plastic, but it's a sealed, strong unit. You know, it was just
Yeah,
delivering some vegetable oil or some fucking thing for some company. The strong,
right.
strong clip down lid. I mean, the thing is designed to take a lot of liquid and not break, you know, and that's what you need. And so I got a bunch of them now, and I could empty the bath into about 3 or 4 of them,
Yes.
and
And
put
that's
it
a very
away and
good
take it to,
idea.
yeah. So I'm all good on that setup now. The rig is fixed with a galvanized steel bath. They're about £100 in this country, newly made, and you just put a camping gas fire under there, you know, as much fire as you can, or even light a bush fire if you want. Um, and you just get it right up to temperature. You're sitting there as long as you like. It starts cooling down. You just turn the gas back on. You can stay in there all day. You know, it'll be hot as you
Well,
like. And I've been an hour and a half, and I don't want to get out. We do. It's like being in the womb, man. All I want now
yes.
is a bigger bathtub that I can lie 6 foot tall in. You know, at the moment it's big enough. I'm really happy. It's quite here, and I'm all in like a fetus position, whatever. And I can lie on my back with my legs up so I can get the full soak on my head. My hair's growing back so fucking fast. I don't even can't even believe it. I was like, why haven't I been doing this every week since fucking 4 years ago? I'd have a full head of hair by now, you know?
Well,
Because
in my
I'm getting the
case,
results of like serious fasting off of this. I ain't fasting. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a regeneration tank. You just dunk in that. You could be eating burgers all
yes,
day. It's still going to be detoxing you so fast that you'll
yes,
start noticing things and nutrifying the head. And so, what I think's happening when I soak my head now is a parasite. I think it's called Demodex. Lives in the root of each hair follicle and starts taking over with the white dandruff mucus that's just floating around up there in Westerner. and Demodex, and that's a major link with baldness, actually, which is totally swept under the carpet, even though it's totally available for anyone to research. And it's almost like I can feel the urine just killing it, you know, like you get this hot sensations and like there's something going on up there, you know, when it's soaking in, ding, ding, oh, and a bit of itch, and then it settles down. And then I've just seen these little black tufts of hair coming out all over the place, like thick and fast. So I thoroughly recommend the deep urine soak. Yeah, without a doubt. If you know, this is serious.
Well,
And obviously you can just do the rubbings anyway. So like, you know, if you're unwell and you want to get well, you got to get into this shit. That's what I'm saying. You know,
well,
whichever way works for you.
in my case, with the freezer, it does keep it in a relative coolness, not hot, which is,
Oh, yeah.
you know, people go, what's with the skin, man? You know, like, why don't you put a shirt on? It's like, fuck off, man. It's like 90 and super humid here, man. Like, you know,
Okay. Yeah, yeah, good
hello.
for you.
I mean, that's why I shaved my head. It's just, it got to a point where, you know, fuck it, man. I'm just getting down to bare bones so that I can just live in this environment. But the pee, having it cool, is refreshing. It's
Yeah, no,
95
I get
degrees
that. I
out.
get that. Yeah, yeah. No,
It's
I'll look
refreshing.
forward to a cool soak as well. The other thing of note with the urine, the aged urine bath, which is a novelty for me because it's only been a couple of weeks now, a few weeks. There's a couple of things to note actually, but one of them is like I don't really know whether I would ever have to throw it away. I mean, I genuinely don't know, we do. I'm asking you as much as I would ask any other peer for their best opinion. But if the stem cells are still alive and
Yes.
they'll still be clean in itself, it'll still be detoxing itself as it goes along,
Yes.
right? It's like the fucking
And that's why I
bathtub's
have
alive.
no,
So
that's why I'm going to save it.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
will.
Well, I've had
And I
about
like the
7 or 8
I like
baths in
that
it
five
now.
gallon bucket idea. The 5 gallon bucket is a great idea. I like that
The
idea
five, yeah, yeah. I'll show you the
for
product.
transport.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because you could just put 3 of those in your truck, and no one would even notice.
Snap them
And once the
down.
lid's clipped down, it won't smell or anything, and it'll just be solid. Yeah. So they're
Yeah, I
really
like it.
good. I was lucky to get them for free. And dude, the other thing about the bath, I don't know how it's been for you, and be interesting. I have felt an incredible stillness and quietness and a return. Um, which really surprised me, you know, like it was like the urine itself was a great teacher, you know, it's like it's showing me and making me centered and still and quiet afterwards. I just feel really quite remarkable, like different in all kinds of, the whole body feels better, the muscles feel toned and stronger, the skin feels soft, the hair fucking goes blonde overnight, it fucking seems, in you know, an hour in the bath, and you can notice the color change, like it's that fast, you know. um I mean, it's off the charts, but this feeling of just being centered and quiet and still, that was what really came home for me after being in the bath. And both in the bath, when especially if I'm like fully womb, you know, like in the water with my ears under. If you get your ears
Yes.
under and your head under, you're just like, it's another world. It's like, but then afterwards, yeah, for hours afterwards, I just sit down. It's like super fucking tranquil, like all the storms settled down, you know. And beautiful. Yeah, I really felt like it was a teaching, you know, like I'm learning from the bath, you know. The bath is educating me. It's surreal almost, you know. But
Yes.
um,
Well, and that's been my experience too with the and I've only
it's nice.
started this a couple weeks ago, but because I live in the woods, I mean there's nobody around. I'm 150 yards from the road and that's got trees and stuff lining it. So I mean, you know, there's nobody out here, so I just, you know, I walk around naked. I walk out to my
Beautiful,
mailbox naked. There, you know, I mean, if anybody's coming down the road, I'll know it for
beautiful.
10 minutes before they get there. So, I mean,
Oh,
getting
yeah,
in
yeah.
the bath and then just getting out and being able to just sit in a chair and let it dry, without even doing the rub, just kind of like let it soak in and sit there.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really meditative. It's
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
really amazing.
Beautiful. Well, I'm blessed
Being
enough to
in the
have enough
bath, too, being
privacy.
in the bath, just sitting there in that meditative state is really
Yeah, yeah, for
amazing.
real, man. For real. Like I was
Yeah.
saying, that's what really came home to me. I was expecting to feel clean. I was expecting maybe the hair to grow back. I was expecting things that, it'd be a great experience, but I didn't know it was just going to be like, boom, like still, like suddenly everything's just fucking stopped and you're just there, like really amazing, feeling inside. And the other thing that I wanted to note was how much I apparently am drinking through the skin, as evidenced by how often I am having another pee whilst I'm
Yeah.
in the bath. And you get that
Yeah.
beautiful moment every time. It still comes up from fucking childhood and swimming pools. You get this little brief millisecond pause before you have a wee, like, oh, I can't wee in the water. And then I just laugh at myself.
Oh,
And
I gotta tell you this. I gotta tell you this, Jack. I've thought about this recently.
shots,
Is that if I
shots.
had a swimming pool, I would say I'd have a sign that said contains no chlorine. Please pee in
Please,
my
please.
pool.
Can you bring all the
I
children of
would.
the
I just
community
like, come
around
on,
to pee
everybody,
in
pee
my
in the pool,
swimming
pee in
pool,
the pool,
please?
please.
I wonder how long it'll be till we're really actually going around the neighborhood and collecting other people's weed for our projects. This is like,
It's too funny though, isn't it?
it's fucking
It's such a
hilarious.
reversal of everything that we've had drilled into us. It
Oh
is.
yeah, sure thing, sure thing. Wow. Yeah, the age urine baths have been deep, and that's just me being slow as well because I've always known the age urine rubbings. I believe everything everyone's ever told me about them, and somehow I just never got around to sitting in the bathroom and rubbing it all in for an hour and a half. But I got around to building a bathtub at last, and I'm really interested with the bathtub and the outdoor bathroom, outdoor spa project not only in future urine therapy use when people get used to the idea, but also just with rainwater and distilled water baths and distilled and rainwater showers, hot showers for people. So this is a side project I'm working on for a small yoga festival this summer, Santoja Yoga Camp. Do come along, anyone who can afford it, whatever. Um, there are cheaper working tickets, and it's a beautiful camp. It's a beautiful week, so I recommend it to anyone. And we do a spa. So we did it last year. We were just doing like Mad Max hot showers overlooking Glastonbury Tor for all the yoga teachers and everyone there. And this year, I'm hoping to do it with rainwater. We'll have the mains anyway, and then we'll hopefully catch 1,000-liter tanks of rainwater, filter it, and be running all the showers with at least very clean water, if not distilled. Um, this is a big, big project. I would want to set up an outdoor spa, in every community to have this option for people because I don't bathe in tap water anymore unless I can fucking avoid it, like unless I can't avoid it. If I
Well,
really,
down
obviously, if
here,
I'm really sweaty and there's a bloody meeting I got to go to, like I'll wash, like I'm ridiculous. But basically, if I can avoid it, I will. And
well, we were talking in our earlier conversations, about living off the grid, and as you well know, I've been living in a trailer. There's no running water. I mean, I have to turn on a generator if I want to fire up the computers or the internet. This is why I choose to use my phone. I can charge my phone with my car,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I
off
go
grid, baby.
months. Months with only washing with pee. Months, months,
Oh yeah,
months.
I went a long time on that bike ride. Believe me. I mean, I was jumping in the
So
river too.
it's not like I'm going to go check into a hotel room just so I can take a shower. You know, that's just
People do, mate.
fucking nuts. And the fact is, I mean, I always like showers. It's just the running water. It's the sensation of taking a shower. Just like
Yeah,
I
so
love
just
hot tubs or
imagine that
jumping in.
we do with distilled water coming out. You're right, like
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I can dig it.
hot, warm. You could have solar warmed water, solar heated distilled water rig. So easy to set up, man. Only a bit of
Yes.
plumbing, a bit of engineering. You know how it goes. Yeah, you got to do it. You got to buy the tanks and the fucking pipes and build it all. It costs hundreds of pounds, but it's everyday basic plumbing. It's nothing
Yes.
problematic at all. All you
No.
need is a pump and a fucking filter and a tank and a fucking roof, and you are away with the mixer, you know? And now that I'm
Yes.
settled and I found my feet again, I'll be building this shit in the next
Yes.
months and years, you know, as shit comes
Well,
together, you know?
even with tarpaulins, you know, because they're real good
Yeah, yeah,
collector
yeah.
gatherers. They're
Is
real
that how
good
you say
collector
that in the
gatherers.
States? Tarpaulins?
Tarpaulins,
Tarpaulins
yeah,
over
they
here,
call
mate.
them tarpaulins, tarps, you know.
We call them tarpaulins.
Yeah.
Tarpaulin. Yeah, yeah. Anything goes, you
But
know, anything goes.
yeah,
So
but they, because
I like the
because of
clear
their
plastic from
buoyancy.
the builder's yard.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
the
lightweight.
buoyancy of them. You can make puddles and then drain offs, and I mean, there's so many ways that they can
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah, yeah.
collectors that are,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Well, I
very
was
useful.
thinking basically like a marquee tent canvas would be nice because then it would be like a durable product that won't just break, you know. And you could take it to every gig and you could have your 1,000 liter cube to catch it in and a big white canvas you run out with a couple of boys and just like boom catches because when you're at a festival season in Britain you know about the rain, right? It rains here, so we get festivals, doesn't matter how good the festival is organized, it rains, you know. And you can take advantage of that if you're running a spa at the festival. It'll be a real
Yes.
novelty, you know, for all the festival goers huddling under roofs. You and your boys will just run out with a massive tarp because there'll be loads of clear space because there won't be anyone sitting down on the grass no more,
Yeah, yeah,
and catch the lot. Yeah, and you can test it obviously. If it's you don't want it, you don't want it, but usually it's pretty clean, pretty quick. Yes, Reese
yeah.
Davis. And yeah, catching rainwater for spas, for festivals. If you can run that gig with trailers, a festival will pay you handsomely to run a spa for their festival goers. Handsomely. And there's only a few people doing it in the UK. So it's a lot of festivals. This is a real possible gig. I got so many gigs. I don't fucking just take up new gigs all the time. You know what I mean? I'm stuck here anyway looking after my old gran at the moment, so I haven't got like that many projects I can do outbound, but I'm building up the potential here. And yeah, I think a running distilled waters festival show is really important. You know, I mean, just even just having a distilled water bar, yeah, even just
Yes.
having a tea and coffee joint that use distilled water and serve distilled water and supply distilled water to the festival. This just hasn't happened yet. We do. This is, you know, we
Well,
got all
right.
this to come. We got all this to come. It'll be like half the traders in 5 years will be using
Yeah.
distilled water. Right now, none of
Well,
them are.
you could. How about a you know for the breatharians, you know, you have cans of the Perrier, you know, just like out of Spaceballs, you know, Perrier, you know,
Oh,
pure
shit.
what pure air.
We get tanks of air from parts of the world that isn't getting chemtrailed. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, that'd be
Pipe in
hilarious.
pure air from Southern Europe. I don't know. Everywhere's getting chemtrailed, right? I mean,
Oh
I
God,
have
I
heard,
mean they're relentless here.
I've heard that
But I never
Egypt,
worry
you
about
know,
this shit. I
Turkey,
don't worry
maybe
about it
not.
anymore. You know, with the pea coat protection, I really don't. I quit.
Yeah, I
You know,
don't
I
worry
harped
about
on it
my
for
own.
20 years. I quit. I quit bitching
I don't
about it,
worry about my
complaining
own
about it. I
health. Yeah.
notice it. I understand it, but I don't worry about it anymore. I'm reversing my age. I'm getting younger. I'm getting healthier. I'm never sick. I
Oh
never
yeah, yeah,
feel
yeah,
any
yeah.
symptoms.
Oh
None
yeah,
of
yeah,
that
yeah.
shit. None.
Sure.
That's why I figure rather than focus on chemtrails, teach people to drink their pee, man.
double
Drink
sure,
it,
yeah.
rub it on your body. You won't even, it won't even be a thing.
Yeah. And the distilled
Won't be
water
a
and the
thing.
fast in itself, you can still just be healthy as fuck, it seems, even when they're chemtrailing and you've been poisoned your whole life. It's amazing how quickly this body can turn itself around and start pumping
Wait
again,
1 second, Jack. Ozzy, you're in Belize?
Yes, I was
Because
in
I want to
Belize.
come to Belize.
Belize, that's the
That's
third mention then. That's where
yeah,
Michelle
because
and
I
Tim, our
know that
friends from Wales, are going to
Michelle's
Belize.
talking about moving
Yeah,
there, and
Michelle,
I
that's
don't know.
right.
I have
Big
it
up
in my
Michelle.
mind this winter I'm gonna drive to Belize.
Ah, good for
That's my
you. Yeah.
intent. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't want to divide up my life transatlantic again. Like I'll go on holiday maybe, but fuck, living on the other side of the world, it's complicated.
Yeah,
Anyway,
well, yes,
you
yes.
know, or as a
Yeah, well,
tribalist, which I
anymore.
am
I mean,
effectively, you know,
you can't go to Canada or Mexico without a passport. Okay, I mean it's ridiculous. I mean they've made they've criminalized all of us. Quite frankly,
sure thing.
everybody.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And they with all the passports, they're all got chips, driver's licenses, phones. I mean, your
So you're
credit
not going to
card.
get yourself a passport again?
I have one.
You,
I got
well, you'll
I
be
got
all
it a
right
couple
then.
years ago. I'm all good. Well, it's chipped. They've been chipping them for 14 years or something, 15
Yeah.
years. They always, they know where you are.
Oh yeah,
Always,
oh yeah.
always. So
We don't worry
I'm
about
going
that
to
shit
come to
anymore.
Ozzy's farm. I'm going to
All
come.
right,
Am I invited to come to Ozzy's farm,
looks
Mr.
like it.
Warrington?
You said you were
I will.
coming Europe as well, we do.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
intend that too.
you intend
It's
that?
it's all about the evolution of the finance and the broader expansion. That's all.
Fucking right. Yeah, that's why you mentioned the Water of Life Symposium, and I'd like to back that up, like big that up, and Anthony A.K. King and the great work he's doing. He's a true friend online, and I would fucking love to be there, as I would have loved to have been there last September. But yeah, finances, traveling the world, I don't take it too lightly. I don't really skip around the continents that fast and quick. So
Well,
I
that's
don't know
why I'm
whether I'll
thinking.
go this year either. I doubt I'll go, to be brutally honest. But I was just thinking, such fantastic work he's doing there. And if I was stateside, I would go. And we just got to get off our ass and do something similar here in Britain and Europe. Because
Yeah,
even if
well,
there was
and
something
I'm
big in
planning
Europe,
this.
if it was on the continent, I'd maybe go. And
Well, I'm
Germany,
doing
there's
this
a lot.
retreat. This retreat is a new development, and
Yeah,
it's inclusive of urine therapy, but it has a more
let's go.
expanded. It's got some expanded ideas, and there's still a couple of openings. That's in July. It's limited to 12 people. In
Yeah.
a pristine private property with great organic gardens. My friend Nancy's has 88 acres in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. It's a pretty special place
Nice,
on the
nice.
river, big teepee, a pool, I mean, it's going to be
Yeah.
cool. And so there's still openings for a few more people. Anybody wants to attend that one, please let me know. Just send
When
me a
is that
PM
again?
or
We do? What
July
time?
20th, 21st, and 22nd.
All right, nice. That's my birthday time.
Yeah, mine too. I'll
Oh
be
yeah.
65 on the July 21st.
Oh, fuck off. That's my birthday, bro. You can't have that one. I knew there was something we had in common, we do.
Isn't that funny? Yeah, July 21st,
That's me.
1953. That's
Fist
me.
pump. 81,
That's so
mate.
awesome.
81. Yeah,
Oh man,
yeah.
that's so
Oh,
awesome.
jokes.
I
You
love
know,
that. My
yeah.
twin. Well, you know who
Yeah.
else? Ernest Hemingway, Robin Williams,
Oh, yeah.
Don Knotts. There's several that we share
I'm
that
sure
day
there's
with.
been a few.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
The stars
That's
are there.
great.
That's good.
How cool
Well,
is that?
happy
I bet it's
birthday in advance. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, man.
And
That's gonna be yeah. Well, and that's,
see,
we just figured, I looked at the calendar months and months ago,
yeah,
and I realized my birthday was falling on a Saturday this year. And, the mountains of in Virginia in July, it's just lovely. It's just a lovely time to
yeah,
be there. And so
yeah.
I looked at the calendar and I thought, well, why the fuck not? Might as well just do it on my birthday weekend, have
It's a
fun, have
really
a
great thing to do,
celebration.
really, to actually organize a fast and host it and invite people so that someone's doing that. That's a really great thing to do, you know. So it's beautiful. That's what we've been talking about all along. You know, the mind boggles how I haven't done more of it already, you know, how 4 years have gone by so quickly without me
Yes.
having done more experiments. But I kind of do know why. I've had 6 homes in 3 years, man.
Well, and that's me, as I put it, I'm a nomad gypsy. I'm never mad, and I just live this gypsy lifestyle. And the fact is, I'm having a conversation with Jeffrey, and I'm going over there to help him do some work in a couple of days. And I may end up on the other side of Missouri
Yeah,
soon,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, good for you,
just
man.
because.
Yeah,
I travel light. I'm a real minimalist. I don't get bogged down with stuff. It's just not
yeah.
part
I
of
was
my
just thinking
MO.
with this, like everyone's going to be in a completely different place, you know, just like we're all completely different people finding this story. We're all at a completely different time in our lives, living with different people, and it's going to be completely different for everyone, you know. Um, how it actually hits home, literally hits home, because it's such a powerful story. It can repulse people quite a lot. And you can find yourself without that same kind of welcome in that same kind of home, and you're kind of on the road whether you like it or not, you know.
Yes,
Or
and I've
all
been on
kinds of
both
things can
sides.
happen. Yeah.
It's like until you walk the mile in my linen shoes, hold your judgment.
All
You
right. All
know.
right. Yeah, for real. Well, that's what it's been like for me. It's been an absolutely bonkers few years.
Yeah.
Finding this story, then finding the flat Earth the year later, being on the bike, landed in south of Spain on my own, just built a whole new life for myself down there, a whole new community of people, all off grid in trucks and trailers. So it's a very open kind of welcome kind of place. And I knew magic was real, you know, since the beginning. We've all known magic is real, maybe for a lot longer. You know, it depends how self and your heart over the years, you know. But when this urine therapy story comes through, I was like, this shit is fucking real, you know, and the magic is real. And you can just create reality, you know. So let's go and do it, you know. And I did, and it worked, and it was amazing. You know, I
Yes.
met so many people on that bike ride I'll never forget. Magic happened for real, you know, like all the
And
time.
you were going
And then
around Europe, didn't you? You saw Monica and Amadeus, if I remember
that's
correctly.
right. Yeah, yeah. They
Hmm.
were so kind to me because we were just on the same distilled waters group that we were just talking about that ended up imploding. And so that's how I'd met um, Changa, as she was known entirely at the time, Changa Charanga. And she was a friendly type of person that was on this story, and there was only a few in Europe. So I was like, which part of Europe are you in? I'm on a bike ride through Europe. And she's actually down the same river I was already riding along the bicycle path that goes
How
down the River
awesome.
Rhine for 700 fucking miles through Europe, flat and level without roads or anything. And you can just cycle path all the way down the river through France to Switzerland. And yeah, it was all
That's so
Latin Americans
amazing.
put me up on the journey, and she was a Bolivian as well, obviously. So I was
That's
speaking
so
Spanish
amazing
all the
how
way
that
through
worked.
Germany, speaking Spanish all the way through France, Switzerland, and
Well, and that's how I ended up here. It was a friend I met online, a pea drinking
yeah,
friend,
it's the way
Daniel,
she goes, you know. Yeah,
and we hooked up at the symposium, and
yeah,
then I was out and doing the We Do Wanders. I was just tripping around, and we hooked up here, and we ended up hanging out together. But he's in Thailand. He took off, and I've just been here,
Right.
and
He's happy
but
to have you on
it's
the
just
farm.
it's pretty isolated, I mean,
Mm,
generally speaking. And so, I'm just reweighing, reconsidering, and I'm exercising options as they appear. And I'm
sure
looking at
thing.
that. Yeah, I always look at
Yeah.
that. I never not look at that. I always look at that. What are my options? You know, that's
Yeah,
why
I'm
I
not,
travel
I
light.
think living in a mobile home is actually totally enough. It's totally enough if you got it well enough built and designed and whatever, and you can afford the fucker in the first place and afford the diesel or have somewhere to park it. Obviously, there's more complications, but if you get that rig sorted, I met on my travels a few gentlemen that are really wealthy enough to be living in a very big home if they wanted to, and they chose not to. They chose to sell the home, bury the money in a hole somewhere in the ground, or whatever they had to do to keep their security of being a wealthy property owning sort of class, or whatever you want to call it. And they decided to
Yes.
live in a fucking trailer because they're happier in a trailer. Because if they don't get on with their neighbors, they can move to the next place, and they don't have this overwhelming fear and concern about what's going to happen to their property and what's this and that and all this stuff. So you're light and
Well,
free,
and that's the
you know.
thing. See, I have no ownership. I own my car.
Mm,
That I own a couple of computers in my car and a couple of personal items. I mean, it's really my ownership is minimal. And this property, this trailer belongs to somebody else. And I've been graced the opportunity to be here and take care of it while I've been here. But
life on the
there's no
road,
real
bro.
attachment. What's that?
Yeah, yeah. Life on the road.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and
I've
I
been there,
lived that
bro.
way. I was a property caretaker for decades, which leave me obligated, where I was kind of stuck
Well,
because,
that's kind of
I'd
where I
have
am
to
now.
take care of certain things. I couldn't just
Yeah.
leave.
No, no,
And I
no.
don't want to
I'm
have
stuck
that
in it.
kind of condition in my life anymore. So I won't make that kind of agreement with anybody where I have to, take care of a whole lot of, things, whatever that is. This I can lock it up, and, the owner has keys and it's all good. It would be sitting here empty if I
Yeah,
wasn't here. It'd
yeah,
just be
yeah, yeah.
sitting here empty anyway. So,
There's the
it
world.
just works like
It's
that.
funny, like I had two things on my bicycle ride. I'm going to plug some power into this bad boy and hopefully I can make it work. I had two things on my bicycle ride that when I first set off, the world was like an open place with space everywhere. Sorry about this. I need some power up here. And it was an open world, and the parks were empty. And as a touring cyclist, everywhere's empty, man. All the parks are empty. People's gardens are empty. The riversides are empty. There's no one about. There's no axe murderers. You're lucky if you see a dog walker in the morning, because it's nice to say hello. And do they ever care whether you kipped there last night? Not a, you can sleep anywhere. You can just
Yes.
cycle off and sleep anywhere. There's just no problem at all. And you really get the impression that the world is an open place. You're free. But on the other hand of that, only it took a year later of settling anywhere, and I'm cycling around the same world, and all I'm seeing is the gates and the fences and the doorways and the walls and the barriers. Because actually, you can only spend a night there, you know? And if you want to
Yeah.
actually settle anywhere and fucking do anything, you need all of that stuff again. You need the land, you need to park the truck somewhere in a garden, and you want the water and the electricity and the power and all this stuff. And it's all gated and walled and blocked, and you have to pay for every little bit of it, you know? So
Well,
it was a
even in the
real, like,
state.
I saw both sides of the picture, Yes, the world is entirely open and free, and you can sleep anywhere and be as free as you like. And yes, the world is also a total prison where you just have to work like a fucking slave to get anything anywhere you are, and pay all the
Yes.
taxes and pay all the bills, and there's no free rides anywhere, you know? So both are true
Well,
simultaneously, and that's
in the States here, I mean, there are limits. You'll get harassed, by
yeah,
police or this, that, the other. But there are certain places, like in San Diego, there's a area called Ocean Beach, and you can just camp in your car. You can just hang. They won't bother you. You don't
nice.
even, as long as you move your car once a week for 2 hours when the street cleaner comes through, you're good.
Right.
You can just camp in your car. I mean, nobody bothers you. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And apparently
Every
there,
country's
Santa,
different. Yeah.
yeah. But
Every
I mean
country's different.
every municipality's different. Every city has its own codes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You have to understand because you can easily get harassed. Big
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But as a wild camper on my bike, I mean, I wasn't even in that game at all because I could just hide so easily. I had green tarpaulins, and if I put those over the bags and over the reflectors, the whole gig would just be like 1 foot high and a hidden bicycle and me sleeping in a green bag, and I could be just anywhere. People wouldn't even notice. I could sleep in my own bloody garden and not know, whoever was there wouldn't notice. You rock up at night.
Yes.
You can be sneaky. I've slept in the middle of Barcelona city center and found a nice, relaxing, peaceful night, and all kinds of things. Actually, if you look around, and but if you want to settle anywhere or do anything, it's the same world everywhere you go. It's just different flavors of imperialism. It's
Yes.
like the Western world Spanish flavor, the Western world English flavor, the Western world French flavor. It's all the same fucking shit everywhere.
Yes.
Really, in a terrible, terrible way. The same terrible, terrible phenomena are happening in every single country in Europe. And this is overeating, as we know, and just enormous health problems across the board, enormous stress, enormous anxiety, enormous education quandaries, and just the whole Western world is, as we all know,
Yes. Well,
a
even
real shit show.
last year when I left Washington State and I had my Venture, my Chevy Venture. Now I had that thing set up pretty well, where I could actually I could be sleeping in there and nobody'd even know I was in there
Yeah,
because I had it set up in a way, and the side windows were blacked out because it was a cargo van to
sure.
begin with. So
Yeah,
outside it just looked like tinted glass, but you couldn't peer into the windows and see. And
yeah.
it was really nice. Now, I've that melted down, so I'm driving this car, but
Meltdown.
when I hit the road, and I plan on hitting the road in September, and
Yeah,
when I say I want to go to Belize, I'm serious. I'm looking
yeah.
at,
Good for you, man.
I
Yeah,
want to
yeah, yeah.
get out
Well,
of
I
the
would.
country. I just want to get out of the country. I want to do something really radically different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just want to enjoy a
Good.
completely different culture and see what goes on. And I've heard about Belize for decades. Different people had told me about Belize and Costa Rica as well, which they're neighbors. I've
Yeah,
heard great things about Guatemala. And I figured,
fantastic
these
music in
these are
Belize.
like going from state to state. That's how small they are as countries. They're like driving from state to state, just like Europe.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Most of the countries are like there's states
Of
in
course.
America bigger than a lot of the countries all over Europe. You know,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well,
big
I
time.
cycled through Holland in a day. One of the
There you
seven
go.
countries I passed through, Maastricht. I
Yeah,
must have cycled in at like 10 in the morning and left at 8 at night. It's like, next country.
yeah.
It was
Next.
just like a little
Yeah, no, that's
peninsula at the
pretty.
bottom.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
far out. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
It's
And
a
and
big
I've
world in a
actually
small
done
world.
the math. With like going to Belize. Yeah, it's like to come out of even in the middle of America. It's only like 12, 1,300 miles. Now I did that shit going from Salt Lake City straight back to here. I did that in one shooter. And I did
Yeah, yeah.
that when I left here to go to Montana. I mean, it's, a straight shooter. I just drove it straight like a NASCAR racer. You know, I just stopped for fast gas and I was on my way again. You know, so
We
I
do
figured
wonders.
that once my car is all dialed up, I have to buy insurance in Mexico while I'm in Mexico. You know, so I
Oh yeah.
schedule out how many days of Mexican insurance I need. I already have an agent that I can just call and PayPal them money, and I'll have the shit.
You
You know, it's not
Mexico
hard,
is fucking crazy like that, man.
isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I went to
but
Mexico
I
City
figured,
like 3 weekends in a row, and every time I went there with local Mexican dudes, that I'd met, I ended up bribing an official. Like you couldn't have made it up, it's a straight everything you know about Mexico, and then your first trip to Mexico City with your bros. Fuck, what happened? The first time we got pulled by a copper and we had to pay him off. Second time we want to go and see some art. It was some of their famous fucking Frida Kahlo or the other guy's name, whatever, in a park in Mexico City. But it's all locked up. What do? You pay the official and let you in. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And next time our car gets impounded and you're down there. Oh, we're closed. Sorry. You have to get it on Monday. What do? Ends up being a freer, easier world, because you can actually get your car back. Because if there's in Britain, they'd be so anal about it. They'd be like, no, it's Monday. This is official. Fuck off, and you wouldn't get it back, So we got the car back and we went out that night. So it's amazing what you can do and can't do in Mexico, how much it
yeah.
costs.
Well, and I'm looking at the,
But they will
I
look you
look
up
at
if
it
they can,
from,
those
if
policemen.
you look at the map, you can like come out of Brownsville and basically do Gulf of Mexico down and around. And even when you go up into Yucatan and that area, that's a beautiful area to go explore,
That's great.
before you drop down into the Central American region, so
Well, you could
it's really,
explore the urine therapy history of Mexico because maybe you should meet Sonia and give her a hard time.
yeah, go give her an aged
Go
urine
go and drink
body
some
hug.
aged urine in her face.
Give
Look,
her one of my big aged urine body hugs with a big
yeah.
shooter.
Just go there
Hey,
with
want a
Tanya
shot?
Saranga fan signs. And
Oh, that's hilarious.
yeah, but I mean, Sonia, it's a shame because she was a real hero. I don't know if you know her
Oh,
story from
she's
the
well
80s.
looked up and well respected. I mean, she's followed by many, and it disturbs many people that she poo-poos so hard on it,
Yeah, yeah, for
and really
sure.
ridicules Monica because of it, which is just sad. Why
Yeah,
go
yeah,
there?
yeah.
Make her out
Why
to be
bother?
like an idiot. It's sad,
Very weird,
not
isn't it? Yeah,
necessary.
yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible. Oh well, you have to go and put her straight, we do, when you go through
Yeah.
Mexico. Because it's a shame,
Yeah.
because I really enjoyed watching Sonia's original videos from the 80s and hearing her stories, back in the day. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and I
sad.
don't know where people, why they get obsessed with the, it's obvious that there's some misinformation involved in her thinking.
Mm.
She's making it out to be completely toxic, that it's totally harmful.
Oh,
And
really?
hey,
Like I haven't.
I mean, like that's just crazy because I know people have been drinking aged urine a lot for a long time. I'm one of them. I don't
Yeah,
drink it as much, but I saturate my body with it. I'm in it all the time. And I have, I've done my shooters. It's not like
yeah,
I have
yeah.
any
We know
fear
it's
of
so good.
doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
So she's basically
I think
wrong, and that's the problem.
yeah, I think so. There's just
Yeah.
misinformation, and why? I don't know. I just don't know.
I reckon
People get
it's
obsessed.
literally ego and jealousy and weird
Yeah.
women stuff. If I was have to have a guess, um,
Well,
she didn't
one
like,
thing I've always
but
said.
that's my psychological projection, shall we say, or idea, hypothesis. So we don't have to go there. But it is
Well,
sad.
one.
Mexico's got a great history in the Catholic churches of urine therapy. It's not only Sonia, but all throughout the 80s and probably a lot earlier and for a long time. Not a great expert, but there is a history of urine therapy in the Catholic Church there being used and practiced. They're all like it's a gift from God, and they start telling people. And then there's a history of that getting really cracked down on, and death threats and even murders back in the 80s around this shit. So it's a really interesting history there, which I would love to explore
Fascinating.
further. Yeah, yeah. And Sonia
Well,
was a really big part of that, and she was a hero, and she didn't give a shit, and she carried on spreading the good word even after having supposedly received threats to her life. So it's a real shame if she's gone sour, so to speak, on a good friend of
well,
ours. So.
one thing that I've maintained for a really long time, even though you think you're right and you're really righteous about
Yeah,
being right, you may be incorrect.
yeah, yeah. It's a true thing. We all got to keep that in
Keep that
mind.
in perspective, you
Yeah, yeah.
know? It's all perception.
All right.
Yeah. Well, this has been a really illuminating time, birthday bro.
Birthday twin.
My
Yeah, yeah,
birthday
yeah.
twin. Who knew?
July
So
21st.
awesome.
Yes, yes.
And
Yes, Daniel.
Ron's
Yes,
here.
Ron.
He's just coming back, and Ron agreed 10 minutes before we aired. He'll be on in 2 weeks. He'll
Oh,
be
yeah. How exciting.
yeah, yeah. That'll
Awesome.
be on the 26th of June, and he'll be in
Okay.
Portugal. So he'll be broadcasting from Portugal.
Wow.
And next week I have Omad Orin Looper joining me on the 19th.
Okay.
And again, I want to mention that there's still a few available openings if you would like to join us in July in the Blue Ridge Mountains for the retreat that I've been planning with Nancy Fox. Please contact me at
Oh,
my
yeah.
PM or on my WeDoShavambu at Gmail, and you can do
Fantastic.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, the symposium in September in Las Vegas. I encourage anybody that,
Wow, yeah.
right now, actually, Anthony posted it yesterday, I think it was. The tickets are $35 until the 14th of
So,
September. If you get them before the 14th, after that, they're going up to $50.
all right.
And again, this whole collection of books,
Oh,
anybody interested, I could use the dough. I'm not
yeah.
asking for your money. I'm
Yeah.
selling books.
Good for
Okay?
you. Well, I just want to
So,
send, you reminded me of Ron's on in 2 weeks, 26. I will be in Greece with Milica, and just want to give her a massive shout out and send all my love to her. I'm sure she'll be watching
nice.
later. Milica, my love. And,
Yeah.
a true urine therapy romance there. Um, one of many to come, I'm sure.
Well, I really
And
want
one
to
of many
thank
that's
everybody.
already
There's
one.
we've had a lot of
Yes, sir.
really awesome guests showing up. I mean, visitors that have been enjoying the show and leaving lots and lots of comments.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
really
always do
picking
the
up.
best I can to
Thanks,
get
Ron.
back comments.
Harry. Yeah,
But
yeah.
during
Well, I've
showtime,
really enjoyed watching these interviews on Rewind, like afterwards, because I don't always catch them live. And really enjoyed Elitom Elamin and John Trumel, and there's more I really want to check out. So it's great to have it as
yeah,
a resource, because guys, you want to hear what they're saying. So well done for you, we do. Keep
yes,
on going strong.
thank
And
you.
I look forward to being part of this community for many years to come.
Yes. Yeah, no, and that's my feeling too. Some days I get a little frustrated, I start thinking, what the hell?
Yes,
What the
definitely.
fuck? But, then I wake up in the morning, I turn on my computers and people are like, "Dude, you're the shit, man. Thank you." Oh God, I mean, every day I get up, I drink my pee and I watch your video and I'm like, "Wow." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" Oh,
No,
well,
mate,
all right.
it's
I
funny,
guess I'll
isn't
stick
it?
around another day.
Yeah, well, this is the trouble, or trouble and the blessing and the wonder and the curse of making and sharing videos is the more you do it, people like it, and then they want you to do more. Well, maybe the next day you don't want to do another one. They want you to do one then. So suddenly it's like, that'll go on forever. And you're doing a great job at really producing a lot of content. So we're all very happy about
Well, I
that.
appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, no,
And I enjoy
fantastic.
producing.
'Cause
It's just, and it's a big investment for me, in
yeah,
time and money. I invest
yeah,
everything I got to make this shit happen all the way. People have
don't
no,
doubt it, bro. Yeah,
yeah, but I do it out of passion. There's
yeah.
a real passion I have about doing this. So, and I love
Well,
people like
mine's still
you
there. I got
joining
like
me.
a little fire being kept alight there, but I'm just setting up the office and the workshop. No,
Right
I'll
on.
be ready for my productions in no time.
Yeah. Well, I
No
look forward to
time
it
being
too.
no time, only now.
Yeah.
We don't know what the
And
fuck the
speaking of
time's
that,
gonna
as a
be.
matter of fact, just for any viewers, I don't think I'll be doing the cartoons this Saturday because I've agreed to help my friend Jeff so I can make some money. I'm going to help him put a floor in a turn of the century farmhouse.
Good for
So
you, Ely.
I think I'll be a little tied up on Saturday,
Yeah.
so good chance I won't produce a show this week, but I'll
Okay,
be
I think
back
I've got one
next
more thing I
week.
want to say before,
Oh,
because there was one
please.
thing I did want to say, and one person I wanted to talk about is that just this weekend gone, I never thought 4 years ago, we do, when I started this story, that I'd watch a urine therapist fasting, distilled water promoting, Hilton Hotema plugging, flat earther winning on national TV, which is what happened on Saturday here. We got our man Tim Sheath, and he's been exploring all of this wisdom, just like me and you, and this knowledge that we know is true, and he's getting on it. And he is actually a champion athlete winning competitions on TV. And that's been and I found Tim, I'd never heard of him until he made his flat earth video. So, it all goes round in circles. It's the way she
It's
goes.
great.
And
Yeah.
I really think, it's flying out now. This knowledge is getting around. We
I
don't
do
know how much they're
believe
talking
that.
about it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
cat's
I
out
really
of the
just,
bag.
my instincts are telling me that there's a paradigm shift, there's a consciousness shift, and there's a greater awareness, and people are resonating more and more. It just feels like that.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
feels
it
like
really
that.
does. Yeah.
I could be, maybe that's just me and my perspective promising, you know,
But
perceptive promise.
oh no, I think everyone feels it. You know, I think everyone's feeling it all across the board, not only in urine therapy
Yeah.
scene, but there's there's times of changing and the stars have changed. We don't really know, do we? We just got to feel it, and we do. So that's nice. Just don't get too bogged
Yes.
down by the stats and the maths.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it just have to keep
Numbers may
rolling.
be
That's I
small,
do the
but
best
morale
I
is high.
know. Yeah, I mean I do the best I know how to just be in the moment every moment I breathe and just trust the moment. Even if I'm frustrated, if I'm going through anything, I know it's just being in the moment and I look at it and process it
This
and
is
move
it.
forth with it.
This is
If you
it.
don't acknowledge it, it's like if you ignore things, will they go away? Well, yeah, your
It's the
teeth
only
will. I proved that.
it's the only
But
gift
I
that keeps
plan
on
on
coming.
recreating my teeth.
Yeah, you're growing. Your your falsies are
So,
looking great there. We do, but
yeah.
anyway, yeah, we'll
Oh,
sign off
peace and
with
love,
that.
my
With
friend.
the only gift that keeps on coming. Yeah, the present,
Yeah.
the eternal present.
Yeah, yeah.
Love to
Big
all
love to
and
you, my
yourself,
friend.
and
This
thanks
has
for
really been
everything.
a blessing. I
Yeah,
love you dearly.
and look forward to the next shows.
Yes.
Yes,
Fun,
mate.
fun, fun. Peace out.
Oh, oh, I don't even know how we stop this anyway. How do you stop it? Do I stop it? I haven't got a stop
I
button
go,
here.
well, have a beautiful, wonderful, marvelous day. And don't forget, boom, you just been
Just
loved.
being loved.
Bye now. We're out.